Are we live now?
I don't know.
I kept pushing the go live now thing up top. That's probably it. Oh. Did it work? I think we might be live. Hello? Please comment if you can see or hear me, because I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. It's not working. Alright, still buffering. Okay, well. Hi, anybody, internet. Hard to tell if anybody's watching, and that's pretty weird. How's everyone doing? I hope well. Oh, I forgot my glasses. Hold on. Alright, now I'm ready. This is terrible, I can't see anything. Oh. Is it working? I'm live! Hooray! Okay, cool. You may have noticed I've got my cool secret agent hat on that I totally didn't steal from Chris. And that means it's time to talk about top secret, secrets. What am I rambling about? I'm talking about secret messages and cryptography. I have on the computer here and I got my phone, so hopefully I'll see your messages. Oh, hey, I see Trisha. Good. Whew. So, what is cryptography? Those of you who took cryptozoology might remember that crypto means hidden, and graphy means writing. So, can you guess? Take a guess what cryptography is. It's hidden writing. Hey, Jancy! My comments may be on a bit of a delay, so sorry if it takes a while to get to you. But if I'm going too fast, or if you have a question or a comment, please go ahead and comment, and hopefully I will see it eventually. People have sent messages for thousands of years. I mostly imagine spies concealing information by, writing in code, but through the years, many different kinds of people and organizations have had reason to hide their communications from prying eyes, including politicians, churches, secret societies, and the military. But even everyday things like our tablets and smartphones have the ability to disguise our personal data as a security measure. So, how do you hide a message? You would need to make it so that the message could not be read without special knowledge, such as a password or a key. This is done with either a secret code or a cipher. The hidden information is said to be encrypted. Alright, so what's the difference between a code and a cipher? The difference is basically that a cipher it changes the messages letter by letter, while a code just converts whole words or phrases into other words or numbers. So let me give you an example. Hold on a second here. Nope, this goes here. Alright, so imagine you overhear Sean and Conan having a conversation, and you decide to eavesdrop for some reason. Sean says to Conan, "The cheese stands alone." I don't know if you can see that. And then Conan replies, "It's a fine day for pontooning." That conversation, there we go. That conversation doesn't make much sense to an outsider, but it also doesn't sound like they're talking about anything very serious that you, as an eavesdropper, would pay much mind to. But what if they were actually talking in code? That is, the words they were saying actually had a hidden meaning that only those two people know about. In this example, let's pretend that the cheese stands for pizza. And stands alone means that Sean just ordered one with everything on it. Like, everything. Anchovies, pineapples, corn, chocolate syrup, marshmallows, the works. And then let's say that Conan's reply of, "It's a fine day for pontooning," is actually code for, "Why would you put chocolate on a pizza with anchovies?" Look, it's a complicated code, and one they would have had to agree on beforehand, but because they had established key phrases that could mean something else, Sean and Conan were able to have a secret conversation, and none of us pesky eavesdroppers would know that what they were really talking about was pizza. Delicious pizza. But I'll talk more about secret codes in later lessons. Today, I wanted to go over ciphers. Well, I got my handy pointing stick. Cipher. I don't know if you can see that. Alright. So, what? Does that make sense so far? Because I'm going fast. And rambling, because I'm nervous. What is a cipher? A cipher changes a message letter by letter basis. So basically, the letters of your original message either get shuffled or replaced with different letters or numbers using a carefully planned system of substitution. Shuffling the letters is called transposition. Hold on, let me write that out. Yeah, not really that one. Transposition. This one's also squeaky. Oh well. So basically, trans means to move or to change, and position means place. So basically, you're moving the letters to a different place. Alright. I'm going to be demonstrating a couple fun ways to transpose or shuffle the letters in a message. Let's start with what's on the board. That is not what I wrote on the board. Can you guys read this line? As I point with my handy dandy magic wand pointer. Thank you, Sean. Can anybody read this? Oh, shoot, I just spoiled it. That's alright. I'm doing great. As you may have noticed, the sentence was written backwards. The original letters are not changed, but their order is. So the key to this one was to read it from right to left. But if I wanted to decrypt it, I would write it like this. And you read this. It's a very tricky secret code. There are many ways to rearrange the letters, but in most cases you will not be able to read a cipher unless you have the key. I have fancy slides, so here, check it out. Printed out paper pictures. A key in this example was to read from right to left, or that it was backwards. I mean, I think with a message like this, you could probably figure it out after a while, but the harder you get with these messages, the more likely you're going to need a key to let you know how do you solve this puzzle. Because that's basically what cryptograms are, is they are word puzzles. Thank you for commenting. Alright. So now let's say that Chris wants to tell me a secret and he just really loves waffles. Oh, thank you. Okay, there you go. Prop comedy. How would he tell me this scandalous secret without letting others find out? Lucky for Chris, he has something called a citily, or a skytail. It's actually been written a couple different ways. I'm going to spell it out right here also. Yeah. So I tried to find the correct way to pronounce this, and I've heard 3 different ones. So I'm going to call it a citily, because that was the one that most people did. But if I'm wrong, I apologize. But anyways, this was basically an ancient way of communication used by the Spartans to encrypt and decipher messages. They had a stick, or, you know, a rod, or a cool standard, or something neat. But basically, they had a consistently round shape. A scytale was a rod used by the ancient Spartans to encrypt and decrypt messages. I already read that. The message is hidden. I should describe what encryption and decrypting means. So if you encrypt a message, it basically means that's how you're hiding the message. This up here, this backwards thing, that's encrypted. when you're decrypting it is when you solve the puzzle and reveal the original message. So anyways, Chris wants to send me his important message using his Sidley. Fortunately, we can make one at home. I'm going to use the cardboard tubes left over from paper towels and toilet paper rolls, but you can use all sorts of household objects such as a rolling pin or a feather duster handle or a sword. All you need is some kind of rod or a stick of a consistent diameter, a long strip of paper or fabric to write the message on, and something to write with. Tape might help too. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to start with this. I actually have for my paper some fancy party streamers. I'm going to grab my tape. Now you're going to watch me awkwardly tape this to the tube. Follow along at home if you feel like it, or just laugh at me awkwardly doing this by myself. So basically, I've taped one end on there, and I'm going to wrap it around diagonally. Uh-oh, I set off the guinea pig alarm. You got away. That's alright. So I'm going to take both ends to the different ends of the tube. Like so. I hope it can pick up this detail. Alright. Now I get the marker. Oh yeah, it shows up. Alright, cool. So now I've got my Sharpie, my marker that I borrowed from Art Stuff. And I'm gonna write Chris's message of, I love waffles. It's a very, very big secret. Alright. Alright. And let's see if you can see my secret message about food. Okay. Now that I've got the message on here, I'm going to peel it off. And behold, what do these random letters mean? I keep setting the guinea pigs off. That's alright. Kind of hard to read that, as anything. Now, if you wanted to be extra tricky, you could go in and actually add more letters to confuse them. I've seen it where people turned it into like a grocery list or something. Now, how does somebody read this once they've got it written on there? Well, the person you're sending it to, which I guess would be me if Chris was sending this message, would need another Sidley of the exact same diameter and shape to be able to interpret it. So if Chris sent me this message and I tried wrapping it around the sword, let's see if it will make sense. Oh no, whoever's trying to contact me, I am sorry. Alright. That doesn't really say anything. Alas, I cannot break this tricky code. However, if I had the tube I'm gonna get this off here again. The tube! Get away! And just like that, the message has been delivered. Very important. Oh, hey, okay. Oh. People are talking and I missed it, sorry. Oh, hey, thanks, Jeannie and John. Cool. Alright, so, questions about the Sicily so far. As I do the opera dance. Okay. Yeah. You can fill in the, if you want to further confuse someone, you can fill in the blank spaces with extra letters, make it to be something mundane. You could turn it into a poem. The key thing is that the person you're sending it to, will know that it is more than just a grocery list, and they will know to wrap it and look for the actual hidden message. So what do you do if for some reason you don't have a sword lying around the house to transcribe your message onto? Fortunately, there's another kind of cipher that was developed that is inspired by the Siddeley, and it's called columnar cipher. I forgot that I made it. Here's a picture of this is the Siddeley. In Greek times, they use like a strip of leather to wrap it around it, but we can use paper, parchment. Hey, shiny ribbons. Oh, another message is on this ribbon. Hold on, I better decipher that. I made props and then forgot about them. Let's see here. This one, I know that the person who sent this mysterious message was using a toilet paper tube. So I'm gonna use that one. And hope that it actually works again. Alright. On there. Who would write a message on this hair ribbon? Or this Christmas package ribbon? Who knows? Oh, the G got cut off. That's alright. Alright, this one has a more complicated message. I don't know if you can read it, but it seems to say, I can't stop playing Animal Crossing. Huh. Weird. So that's the Sicily. Hold on, I dropped my, there it is, comma. I dropped my notes. So there's another kind of thing that I made a paper for, but I dropped it on the ground because I'm very organized. Oh no. So I'll just write it on the board. Columnar. Spelled like this. It's basically like if you think of the columns of like an old Greek temple, it's because the words are written downward rather than across. So I actually sent a couple examples of this home in your worksheets. Yeah, it's called a columnar cipher because the code is written vertically in columns. Oh look, Chris sent me another message. This doesn't make any sense. Fortunately, because I know Chris, and we send each other secret messages like this all the time, I know that the key to this message is that it is written in rows of 5. So I'm going to erase this and draw a grid and try not to knock down the white erase board. Come on, you. Okay. No, octopus. This is going splendidly. There we go. Let's try this one. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a grid first. A 5 by 5 grid. Oh, that marker does not want to erase. How do you know? Ah, the squeaky sounds. So my code, I'll write it up here just so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let's get rid of this stuff too. The encrypted message I was given is oh, I should just be writing into the thing. That's alright. H-D-M-Y-X. So those were the snippets I got, which doesn't look like a language to me, but let's see if we can turn it into one. So for this one, I'm writing, I know that the hidden message is written vertically, so this I need to write horizontally. So I'm going to fill it in just as it was up there. And let me know if you solve this before I do. Which, yeah, I know the answer, so I guess that's kind of cheating, huh? Anyways, so now to be able to read this, we're just going to read it down. So it seems to say, so if I want to decipher it, I'm going to write it like E, D, W, H, I, E, D, D. Are you starting to see the secret message written in there? I just got to go back and add spaces. Sometimes you'll notice there's two X's at the end of that. That's called a null. Null. That's what they use to fill out the code, so you can A, fill it in correctly, and also know, like throw off people trying to read it. It doesn't have to be X's. Just kind of shows it up. So this appears to say add whipped cream and syrup. Ah, Chris is still talking about the waffles. I get it. Delicious waffles. So good. Waffles. Okay. Do you guys want to try another one? I can't tell if there's anyone actively watching. Oh, there's waffles. Okay. We can try one from one of the worksheets I sent home. Also, what time is it? Oh, 2:30. Okay. Let's try one that I sent home. So the first package we sent home had a couple of these columnar ones in here. Nope, I didn't need to do that. Actually, you know what? Unless you guys want to work through another one, we can just go ahead and go to the next kind. Feel free to comment while I'm trying to get this clean. Please don't fall. Okay. Stick. There you go. I didn't know one commented. Alright, so, let's see. Ah! Chris has just sent me another message. Thank you. Yeah. It has a keyword on this one that says help. That's weird. So if you want to make your columnar cryptogram extra encoded, you can add a keyword. The keyword lets me know how many rows I need to draw. So in this case, H-E-L-P, that's 4 letters. So I'm going to need 4 columns for this particular puzzle. Oh, that one's real sneaky. 4. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and write these in here also, but there's another trick. So I'm going to put my keyword at the top. And actually, I should write these up here too. So here's the encrypted. So for this one, because it has a keyword, you don't just put it in by order of these. You're doing it by the order of alphabetical order of the letters in the key. So in this one, what letter comes first? It's probably E. E comes first in the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E. So for E, we're going to put our first line in. So why did this one end up with 5? Oh. I may have messed this up already. There you go. There you go. Alright, next letter in the alphabet of help. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So row number 2 is going to be and then the third row, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. So third row is going to be K, M, Y, W, A. And the last row must be P. So now trying to read it, someone took my waffles. Ah, Chris. That's pretty bad. Did that make sense, everybody? Anybody? If you're having a hard time reading it this way, it sometimes helps to just go through and write it out like I did before. So now you're going vertically. So don't worry about how to space the words till you get all of them in the correct order. Because it's a lot easier to see words when they're written horizontally, like we're used to. Yeah. Cool. Thumbs up, I hope. All right. In the worksheets I sent home, we had one that was using a keyword. It was this one. Dreams was the keyword. It was kind of part of a story. So if you guys had trouble with that, go ahead and let me know when I finish my spiel here and we can work through some of the worksheets, if that makes sense. And if not, let's move on. Alright. Is that the end of my notes there? Good work, me. Alright. There is one more kind of cipher that I want to, a substitution cipher specifically. I don't know if I'm on the screen. That I want to talk to you guys about today. And it is called the fence rail cipher. Which, again, I should have a page for over here. Yeah. Well, so let me go ahead and erase this. Aha! Aha! Rail fence cipher. You can kind of see it's a kind of fence that's kind of zigzaggy, right? That's how the fence is built. And that is a clue to how to solve this kind of cipher. knock this over. Ah! A final note from Chris. Thank you. Now this one's tricky because, as you can see, some of the rows have way more letters in it than the other ones, so it seems pretty clear that it's not going to be a perfect grid. However, the way it's written it is also a clue. I can see that there's supposed to be 4 rows to this rail fence cipher. And the way you write this out, here, let me go ahead and write the prompt up there first. Yes. You guys aren't picking up on the squeaky sound. Alright. So I've got my encrypted message up here. Hopefully that's sort of legible. And I'm going to draw 4 lines across. Hopefully that's enough room. Okay. So you write this by zigzagging across the lines, starting with the first one. Nope. Wait, hold on, I'm blanking. Okay. Well, I'm actually going to, you solve it by going zigzag. I have to write out the encrypted message first, so I put lots of space at the top. Like that's a T, not an I. E, E, S. And this one's the bottom one, so we're going to put that one. Okay. I think I may have messed this one up. Ah! Oh! I messed it up. Sorry, guys. Ah, that's embarrassing. Let's try it again. In theory, if I wrote this correctly, this should form a message. Oh, I may have messed up my encryption. That is unfortunate. This is what I get for not testing it first. I was all like, haha, I have done it. I have encoded it so well. Nobody can read it, including myself. So, here's an idea. Let me figure out how to encode the message, because I know what it says. So we're going to reverse engineer this. The message said, I found the thief. My dog likes waffles too. Kiki. So if we want to write this in a real thin cipher, so here's our plain text is what they call the message you want to hide. So oh my gosh. Found the thief. My dog likes waffles too. So that's our message we want to encode, right? So I've got my lines. Starting over here, I, F, O, U, and then I zig back up. N, D, E, H, E, T, H, I, E, F, M, Y, E, O, G, L, I, K, E. Oh, this is gonna run out of space. Two. Anyways, you get the point. So, you're basically writing it in a zigzag, like a rail fence. And then, to get your encrypted message, you would follow the lines across. So it would be I, T, E, G, W on the first line, so it wouldn't have very many. The next one would be F, D, H, I, F, O, L, S, A, P, and so on and so forth. You would end up with 4 lines of writing. O, N, E, H, M, D, I, E. Oh, I don't know if that's in the way. Can you guys see that all right? I did write kind of small over there. Let me know if that one made sense, because I definitely did not explain it very well. Magic, follow the magic pointer. Alright. So, I don't know if you guys are still there and watching. If anybody has any questions about the worksheets we sent home, we've done a couple rounds of them now. I've sent home a couple of the riddles. If you'd like, we can just go through and solve them together. I can just solve them up here while you guys watch if you want. Attempt to solve them. I may not be able to do it either. Some of these are tough codes. But it looks like we got about 20 minutes left. Well, more like 15. But let's take a crack at it, shall we? Just scooch over here. So, let me erase this whole board so we have lots of room. Does anybody want to, like, give a message that we could try to encode together? There we go. If so, go ahead and post it in the comments, and hopefully I'll see it. So, let's see. Hopefully, you guys got a piece of paper that looked like this in your packets. So we're gonna rewind a bit and talk about some of the easier ways of doing a transposition cipher. So this one's going to be word splits, which is basically, you know how we wrote the first sentence up there backwards, and that was our way of transposing the letters, the message, making it hidden? Another way you can do that is just by changing where the spaces in the words are. So, in this example, we got so obviously, these don't really seem like they look like words at the moment, but if you kind of imagine the spaces in a different spot, you can kind of see how they start to form words that make more sense. Where do you think the spaces should actually go in this sentence? What if we switch them around a bit and instead write the sound. Watch out for spiders. Sound advice, just in general. Unless they're pet spiders. No offense to pet spiders. You guys are cool. So yeah, simple way, but it's still an easy way that if you need to send a message, you can keep it a little bit hidden. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can also do the kind of like the backwards one. Go ahead and erase it. But instead of flipping your whole sentence, you could flip just the words, which can kind of throw a person off the trail. They might think, I just have to read this backwards. But then it still won't make sense, because only the words were backwards. So, this one's a tongue twister too. You guys are ever trying to think of names for your D&D or your Starfinder characters? Sometimes flipping a word backwards is a great way to come up with a new name. A very fantasy sounding name. Life tips. Oh geez, sorry, the squeaking, That one's still a word. Alright. Nope, not the Sharpie. There we go. Now in this one, obviously if you just try to read it backwards, her, keep, couldn't, and wife? Had. Oh, is that Pete? Eater. Pumpkin. Peter. Those were words, but that didn't really make sense as a sentence. So I have to remember to flip just the words. So then it becomes Peter. pumpkin eater had a wife and couldn't keep her. Obviously you need the key to that one, or it helps to have the key to that one. Usually the worksheet is nice enough to be like, the key on this one is to write each of the words backwards. So that would be the key to solving that mystery. Nobody has commented yet that I can see. I am so sorry if you are commenting. It seems to have paused if you have, so I'm just gonna keep going. Oh, well, we'll do one more. Let's go ahead and skip ahead to their fence rail cipher, which maybe will work out better than my example did. So in their cipher, they wrote using 2 lines, which probably does make it a little bit less complicated. Still doing that zigzag pattern though, as you see. The squeaking. That is a lot of A's in a row. So, if you tried to read this out, it just says, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but because we're smart, and because we were given the key that this is a fence rail cipher, we know that this message needs to be read in a zigzag pattern. So, switching colors for hopefully ease, I come from Alabama. And once again, if it's easier to not worry about breaking into words, just figuring out what the correct order is, just do it the same way. So I find out the order of the words first, because it's a lot easier to take a step back from it and figure out where the spaces should go once they are written out in a way that makes a little bit more sense. Alright. Well, that is my super awkward presentation of the day. Ugh. I was hoping to answer questions if anybody had any about the worksheet. Are you guys interested in learning more codes? This was just talking about, again, transposition ciphers, which is where you take the letters and shuffle them around. But there's a whole other kind of cipher, which are called substitution ciphers, which is what I'd like to talk about next time. And those are the ones where you take the letters and replace them with either different letters or sometimes numbers, anything else. We commonly use them in real life, like Morse code, if you ever learned Morse code, Braille, sign language. Those are all substitution ciphers that are very easy to use in real life. They're just taking the alphabet that most people are familiar with and putting it in a different form. Swirl. So if you are interested, please do comment so I know if you want me to make another awkward thing like this. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Catch you again. Oh, next week we'll be trying something different, another story. So let me know if you guys are interested in more of the stories also. Anyways, I'm going to sign off now. Thanks for watching, whoever watched. Goodbye!